The Trump administration has taken yet another big step in its crackdown on illegal immigration. This time, the focus is on unaccompanied migrant children, those who came to the US without their parents or legal guardian. A new memo from Immigration and Custom Enforcement has directed agents to track down and deport thousands of these children, specifically those who missed court hearings or were released to non relatives. But here's a question: what does the ICE memo exactly says? Basically, ICS put together a four-step plan to find and remove unaccompanied children who are living in the US without legal status. The plan officially started on January 27th with a planning phase, but it doesn't specify when actual deportations will begin. According to the memo, ICE is focusing on children who fall into three categories. A. Flight risks. There are kids who have already been ordered to leave the US but disappeared before their court hearing. Secondly, public safety threats. Children who may have committed crimes or they are suspected of being involved in illegal activities. And third, border security concern. These are those children who recently crossed the border illegally and are still under government watch. ICE plans to visit the homes of these children, serve them a legal document, and either send them to the court or deport them immediately if they already have a removal order. The government has been using databases and government records to track down these children. And here is a plus point also. Just because many live with undocumented adults, their addresses could help ICE arrest even more people. This thing actually is affecting many migrant children. Since 2019, over 6 lakh children have crossed the US-Mexico border alone without their parents or any guardian. Many of them were from Mexico, Central America, and South America, fleeing violence, poverty, or gang threats in their home countries. In the past few years, tens of thousands of these children have already been ordered to leave the US. More than 31,000 kids were ordered deportation simply for missing their court dates. Now, ICE is working to locate and remove as many as possible. Let me tell you something really interesting. This isn't the very first time when Trump has taken a hard stance on illegal immigration. During his first term too, he introduced zero tolerance policy, which led to the separation of children from their parents at the border. These kids were placed in government shelters while their parents were either deported or they were detained. Well, this particular policy is highly controversial, and after global outrage, Trump officially ended it in 2018. However, as of today, up to 1,000 children still haven't been reunited with their parents. Trump has also tightened the rule for sponsors as well, the people who take in migrant children after they arrive in the US. Now, all sponsors and any adult in their households must submit fingerprints for background checks before they can take in the child. Now, this move could deter undocumented families from coming forward, leaving thousands of children stuck in government shelters. Now, let me tell you, Indians are also heavily affected here. While the majority of unaccompanied minors are from Latin America, Trump's immigration crackdown will also affect Indian families living illegally in the US. And here is why. First of all, over the past few years, thousands of Indian migrants, mostly from Punjab and Gujarat, have entered the US illegally, claiming asylum. Some have sent their children alone in hopes that they would later sponsor their parents. Now, this strategy may no longer work as Trump's new rule make deportation faster and stricter. Secondly, Indian families who took in these kids will be at risk now. Many undocumented Indian families have sponsored these children, believing that they would help them secure legal status later. But now, ICE is tracking sponsor addresses. These families could face deportation themselves if they are living illegally. Then, many young migrants from India come to the US on fake student visas and then disappearing to work illegally. ICE has been using school enrollment data to track down such cases. This new focus on unaccompanied children means that more investigation into missing students, which could put many Indians at risk of deportation. Fourthly, with Trump doubling down on deportations, Indians who plan to enter the US through illegal means, such as the fake asylum claims, forged marriage documents, or any student visa fraud, will face even tougher scrutiny. What's next? That's what everybody is asking. Well, Trump's immigration policy have already caused fear and uncertainty among undocumented immigrants, including 3 lakh plus illegal Indian migrants living in the US. Many of them have built lives in the country, but with ICE's increasing raids and enforcement actions, they may now have to stay under the radar or risk deportation. For those hoping to bring their child or any relative to the US illegally, this new crackdown is a major warning sign. ICE is becoming more aggressive, and any mistake, I repeat, any mistake, like missing a court hearing too, could now result in immediate deportation. Now that Trump has won 2024 elections, his administration is expected to expand these policies even further, making it even harder for illegal migrants to stay in the country. So basically, in conclusion, for undocumented Indian migrants in the US, the situation is becoming increasingly dangerous. Whether they entered through asylum fraud, expired visa, or fake college, they now face the real possibility of deportation, specifically if they have sponsored or taken in migrant children. So if you or somebody that you know is in similar situation, it is important to be aware of the risk and consider legal pathway to secure your status in the US. The United States government immigration policy is not slowing down, and as enforcement efforts ramp up, staying informed and prepared is even more crucial than ever.